This week on Toys of the Jedi, Jake Stevens and Chris B take off their trainers and put down the microphones as ToyRun comes to an end. Images of VC-21 the Gamorrean Guard have surfaced thanks to Robot Kingdom. And the UK's Toy Fair was held last weekend in London. Chris B announced through the ToyRun Facebook page that they were indeed going to be putting down the microphones and calling an end to the ToyRun podcast. Now, this is a massive loss to the collecting community, as Chris and Jake both were fantastic beacons of positivity for the collecting community. They got some amazing interviews over their time on the show, and the amount of effort that must have gone into producing a weekly podcast is phenomenal. And I have to say, fair play to them. They are the ones that actually got me interested to actually start doing something myself, getting off my backside and recording a video channel. The work that they've done over the years, like I say, nothing short of astounding, and if you haven't heard of them, do make sure you go back and go through their archive. There's 136 shows there, well worth downloading them and having a listen. Like I say, some cracking interviews with Steve Evans from his time when he was at Hasbro. Also some cracking interviews with people like Gus Lopez, some real big names in the collecting community. So do go back and check that out. They have said that they are leaving the podcasts up online till about November sort of time, so go and make sure you get them all downloaded in the meantime. So the UK's Toy Fair was held over the 22nd to the 24th of January this year, and there was a whole load of nothing that was actually released as far as Hasbro is concerned. Hasbro don't attend the event anymore. They used to, but haven't done so for the last couple of years. There were some nice reveals from Funko, particularly for the Return of the Jedi collectors, but that was about it, nothing major. And to be fair, it is the early toy fairs that don't really get a huge amount of leaked items from them. They tend to hold a lot of stuff back for New York Toy Fair, which is coming up next week. Do stay tuned to Toys of the Jedi. We will be having more coverage from New York Toy Fair, where hopefully there'll be a bit more of what really gets us going as collectors from the Hasbro side of things. Robot Kingdom have put up images of the VC-21 Gamorrean Guard figure, and if you actually look at Bossk's Bounties video, he's actually received one in hand. And basically the main differences in the card between the one that was released back in 2010 and the one that was been released now is the back of the card. On the front of the card it's mainly very much the same. You've got a slightly clearer image of the Gamorrean Guard, and the name tag now is in dual languages. On the reverse of the card you've got a completely different image. These are more in line with what's being released today. So you only get about 6 different figures that are featured, and on the bottom of the card is all of the warning bits and pieces. This is a completely different version to what we received in the UK, like I say, back a couple of years ago now. We had a nice big sticker over the back of ours with all those wonderful warning logos. Peel that away though, and you did get the nice green sort of bit of a history lesson about the vintage characters. So the Kenner 1983 figure was featured on the back of that card, and that's all been done away with for this new version. Yakface.com are reporting that the Archive Wave 2 is going to have Darth Maul as part of the lineup. The initial set for this wave were announced as Anakin, Yoda and a Biker Scout, but looks like the case assortment is going to include the Dark Lord of the Sith from Episode 1. Now, UK collectors have been finding Darth Maul showing up at the Entertainer for as low as £11 if they were lucky, $22 if they were not so much. So we're not really crying out for this figure at the moment, but it is a good chance for US collectors to get their hands on him if they missed out on the original. StarWarsCollector.com has highlighted that there's been a running change to the Bucket figure in the Resistance line. It's actually a name change from R3B7 to R3J5, which is the corrected version as in the TV series. Variant hunters, this is just a packaging variant. The figure itself inside is exactly the same, but if you're so inclined, do make sure you track that one down. Sticking with StarWarsCollector.com, they've also highlighted that the Rocket Trooper in the Black Series range has now gone up for pre-order. You can find these for $22.99, and this is available at various retailers. Again, in the UK, these are going to be available at the usual suspects, places like your Dark Side Toys, ID Toys, and Star Action Figures, all those sort of places again, so do keep an eye out for those pre-orders going live. Now back to yakface.com. They've got plenty of news actually breaking through at the moment. They highlighted following StarWars.com's release of the Galaxy of Adventures figures that are coming out, the Wave 3 this lot. So this will be your Rey, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Kylo Ren, General Grievous, and a couple of other figures as well, which you'll see up on screen as we go along. Now these are all straight repacks. They just come with a nice new comic and in a lovely little collector's tube. These are intended to get the kids that have just seen the Galaxy of Adventures cartoon on YouTube back interested and invested in the hobby. Hopefully it'll, like I say, bring some new blood into the hobby to go with us. They've also hinted that there might be a Lando Calrissian figure coming into the vintage collection. Now this is supposed to be the skiff version. Possibly it's going to be a re-release of the one from the Desert Sandstorm, although he was often criticised as being just a little bit too short for Lando, which is a real shame because the figure itself is absolutely fantastic and well worth picking up if you haven't got him already. We'll see what Hasbro do. Hopefully they'll just tweak the height on him a little bit because the rest of the figure, like I say, is spot on. The other item that Yakface have stumbled across is this Black Series Hyper Real figures. Now these are supposed to be a little bit bigger than the standard 6-inch Black Series figures and are meant to be like even better than the photo printing technology that they're using at the moment. Like the name suggests, hyper real, super duper detail, but with that you're going to be charged an extra premium price tag on that. These are looking to retail for about $80, probably going to be outside of my collecting focus, probably just due to the size of them and what have you. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe we'll get some clearer images and what have you at ToyFair. Obviously that's coming up in the next week or so. Maybe there'll be an announcement there. And finally with Yakface, they have announced that they are going to be running a competition for you to win Jabba's sail barge. Now at the moment it's just an announcement they will be doing it. Apparently they're going to be having one to give away through the website and another one that they will be looking to do a competition that you can only win by going to Star Wars Celebration and dropping by their booth there. At the moment, like I say, no further details. They have said that they will announce a bit more a little bit closer to the release of the actual barge. So do tune into yakface.com, link in the description down below. JediTempleArchives.com have announced that pre-orders are going up for Wave 5 of the Vintage Collection. Now the main person that we'll all be looking for in this collection is Lando Calrissian in super articulated format from the Solo film, so that's the nice yellow clothing that he's got on there. This wave also contains Captain Phasma, a Praetorian Guard, Chewbacca, and the Rogue One Stormtrooper. Now this is the Rogue One 5POA helmet on a brand new Stormtrooper body. Again, this one was also very nice figure and one that I'm sure will sell out pretty quickly. If you're interested, head over to the usual suspects for the pre-orders over there.
Echo Base, this is Rogue 2. I found them. Repeat, I found them.
So still not a massive amount of new product hitting the shelves at the moment. The Vintage Collection Wave 4 has actually started hitting in Forbidden Planets across the UK, so do make sure you get down there if you are looking for any of those. I'm still waiting for mine to come in off a pre-order, but there you go, that's part of the thing. What we have found though is places like Home Bargains have started getting in some of the slightly older stock in at amazing prices. They did the Wave 2 of the last Jedi figures, $1.99 each, fantastic on there. But they've also had in some of the 2-packs, such as the Baze Malbus and Chirrut Imwe at $3.99. They also had the other figures from that wave, which is your Han Solo and Boba Fett, horrible Han Solo figure there, but the Boba Fett is worth the $3.99 on his own. The Rose Tico and BB-8 and BB-9E, and the Rey and Praetorian Guard. So again, all of those were $3.99. Not bad at all for those, so do check out your local home bargains for those ones. The other thing worth mentioning in home bargains is these lovely stationery kits by Helix. Now these are replicas of some of the stuff that was released in the late 70s, early 80s, and including the particularly rare Death Star pencil sharpener. Now they're not exact replicas, so don't worry about if you've already got the old original stuff. These aren't going to devalue that, but they are a good chance for collectors to get some of these just to add to their collection. A couple of different designs on the pencil cases. There's a Han Solo, Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper, the ones I've seen, along with the Luke Skywalker. And again, these are home bargains, $1.99, absolute bargain if they've still got any left, because they are going out like hotcakes. Now, if you weren't aware of those, we did feature all of those items on the Toys of the Jedi Instagram feed and the Twitter feed. Now, you can follow us at Toys of the Jedi on both of those. Do make sure you give us a follow, and then you'll be notified of any new bargains that do show up as and when we find them. And that's our show for this week. If you've enjoyed the show, please click the like button down below. Make sure you also click the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure that you're notified as soon as we release a new show. Speaking of new shows, we are going to have some coverage of New York Toy Fair next week. So all of the news and coverage as and when it happens, I'm going to try and be doing those on a sort of daily basis. So as soon as news comes out, we're making sure we get it to you. As far as the overall coverage, we'll look to do a roundup, gather it all together once it's all been released. And of course, we've also got the usual bits and pieces coming up, like the next episode of the Vintage to Modern updates. This is going to be the Boba Fett episode. Big enough character that we will cover him on his own. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the show. Until next time.